Independent Pantanal, visiting the land of the Jaguar. You want to see these guys in the wild, but the brochure price looks too expensive? Well, we hired our own car, spoke to lodges direct, and this is our experience. Hi, we're Chrissy and Gary, and in September 2024, we put together our own trip to the Pantanal in an attempt to find jaguars in the wild. We flew from London to Sao Paulo and then took a 2-hour internal flight to the city of Cuiabá, which is the jumping off point for trips to the Pantanal. From Cuiabá, it was a 4 to 5 hour journey via the town of Poconé to Port Jofre, which is the hub for the boat trips. The tarmac road and petrol stations run out at Poconé, so this is where we filled up, making sure that we used gasoline rather than ethanol. Ethanol is cheaper, but you don't get as much range. And then it was on to the famous Transpantaneira, the dirt track that takes you all the way to Port Jofre. In the dry season, it was a good but dusty road. If you do find yourself in an open vehicle, better watch out.
There's a road there somewhere.
There are dozens of bridges on the way down, and all of them were in good condition. And the one or two that weren't, well, they were currently under construction, and they all had a good workaround.
The beauty of self-driving is that you can get out at all of these gorgeous waterholes on the way down, most of them teeming with water birds and birds of prey. We watch so many transfers that just seem to dash straight down to Port Jofre without stopping.
And if you don't stop, you miss all of this. And the ability to do this. Say cheese! And finally, we made it to Besso Pantanal, our home for 4 nights.
So here we are, just arrived at Besso Pantanal on the Port Jofre and on the river. This is where we're going to be spending 4 nights and 3 days on the rivers looking for jaguar. If the chakalakas will give me some time to say a couple of words. But what we would say is that it's a fantastic drive down. It's taken us 3.5 hours from Poussada Alegre, loads of wildlife on the way, and we're really looking forward to a great experience. Thumbs up for jaguars.
Bem-vindo ao Besso Pantaneiro.
Every morning at 6:30, after a tasty breakfast, it was a lovely 10-minute walk down to the river.
Where are we going?
We're going to go and see some jaguar.
Okay, lead the way.
And this is where our boat driver Carlos will be waiting for us. He didn't speak any English, but he really knew the river, and we had a great time over the 3 days.
Morning, Carlos.
Vamos caçar jaguar.
Ah, sí.
Each morning, it was a 20 to 30-minute ride to the Three Brothers River system, where the majority of the jaguars are seen. Although even on this beautiful stretch, jaguar sightings are common, and there's also plenty else to see. And it seemed like everybody else was having their breakfast. And then you find your first jaguar. This is what we came for, and it was so special, our first Jaguar sighting. I don't think anything prepares you for just how beautiful these animals are. This is T, a female who's regularly seen on the river, along with her two daughters, Tigana and Kavira, and we had several sightings of all of them. Jaguar was what everybody comes to see, but you'll probably get more pleasure out of finding some giant river otters, especially if they've got some youngsters. This is Marella. She's a 3-year-old female, and we had a couple of extended sightings with her. Like all the other Jaguars we found, she was very relaxed. There's a lot of boats here because this sighting occurred in a dead-end lagoon. Marcella's obviously looking for a way across, but everybody's very respectful, they open up, and she got the opportunity to swim to the other side. At times, there are a lot of boats on the river. At our busiest sighting, we counted 26. But everybody's very respectful. They follow the code, keep the distance, give everybody a chance. Not like some of the antics you see in the African game parks. And if you want to know a bit more about the jaguars you're seeing, hopefully your guide has this book. We certainly found it very useful. And if not, speak to these guys on the river. They're a wealth of information and very friendly.
Well, this is a nice spot for a bathroom break. You're out on the river from 8 until 5.
In fact, there are plenty of places to get out when it's safe to do so. And you have your lunch on the river as well. And we often found there was plenty going on while we were eating that. And now we come to Aado, a male who wears a collar following his rescue from the forest fires in 2022. He has a reputation on the river for his hunting technique where he dives under the water looking for caiman, and we spent a long hour watching him hunt the banks. We have posted a longer episode of the hunt on YouTube, but this is the bit where it gets interesting. Well, that was pretty intense. Aado wasn't going to eat the caiman there and then. He decided to take a walk and find somewhere more secluded. To our surprise, he then decided to swim across the river, caiman in mouth. Having reached the other side, he paused, sized up the climb, and then launched himself up the bank to disappear and have his lunch. We saw plenty of caiman during our time in the Pantanal, although not always in the areas where the jaguars were hunting. And here are some more jaguar snacks, this time in the form of capybara, which were perhaps not as plentiful as we were expecting on the river, but very docile, and when you got the youngsters they were great to spend time with. You really could just switch the engine off and glide up to within touching distance of these beautiful animals. Some more otters now. In this case, a couple of adults doing some house cleaning outside their den. and we were lucky enough to see some species interaction between some giant otter and a pair of jaguars. These guys are obviously a little bit nervous. This is siblings Tango and Madalena. We also saw their mother Pollyanna at this sighting, but she disappeared into the bush quite quickly.
So we're taking a break from jaguars, and Carlos is now going to try and catch some piranha to have some piranha sashimi. Good luck, Carlos.
That's a bigger one.
Grande,
Yeah,
maior de tudo. Muito bonita.
the daddy.
É.
Number 5.
So, having caught 6 yellow-bellied piranha in 10 minutes, Carlos is now filleting in preparation for the sashimi.
Esse é o sashimi de piranha que eu preparei para vocês aí. Vocês dão uma experimentada para ver se vai gostar, né? Que a gente quando tá pescando, a gente usa muito fazer sashimi porque tem vezes tá longe para ir almoçar. Aí a gente no rio pega 5, 6 piranhas, já anda com tempero, prepara, já faz na hora. É uma comida rosto com o Pantanal.
Well, that was a great interlude and very tasty, and we recommend it if you get the chance to do it. Ask your boatman. And now back to the jaguars. It's always good to keep your eyes peeled when you're on the river. Having beaten Carlos's record of 9 sightings in one day with our 10th jaguar, he told us that he knew a spot for tapir, so off we went.
So while we're just here on our last evening, sat on the river waiting for a tapir to appear, hopefully, I just thought I'd share a few thoughts about our last 3 days in the Port Jofre area. And it's certainly the place to come if you want to see a jaguar. I mean, we've seen 20. And this is the high season, the dry season, and we've proved that you can do it on your own. They take a bit of work, and you have to accept the fact that no one speaks English, everybody speaks Portuguese. But it's been a great 3 days, and although the jaguars are probably the stars, great supporting cast, the river otters, and the capybaras, especially the babies, and a lot of birds. Recommend it.
Right on cue, as Carlos had predicted, the tapir appeared. And then it was time to take our last boat journey back to Port Jofre. But here's a few birds we saw on the way.
So time to leave Besso Pantanal. It's been fantastic. The river and the Jaguars have just lived up well. Have exceeded their expectations really. Carlos, our driver, he may not have the fastest boat, he may not have the newest boat, but he knew his stuff, and we just had a great time. You do get 10 hours, maybe 10 and a half hours on the river, which in 40 degrees. Make sure your boat's got a canopy, but it was just a great trip, and they've been super friendly. They don't speak any English, so Google Translate is your friend, but recommended.
Yes, thanks to all the staff at Besso Pantanal who made our stay so enjoyable. Here's the link if you want to get in touch. And thanks once again to Marella, Aado, Tingana, and all the other Jaguars that made it such a memorable trip. On our return to Cuiabá, we stopped at Southwell Pantanal Lodge and Posada Alegre to catch up with some more exciting animals. But more of that next time.